Craig's report, and one good thing in there, he was talking about the sidewalk project. It sounds like we're within a month or so getting started down there on that, possibly. So appreciate all the work on that. And the next thing is a communication from the mayor. And I'll go through some things here. Trying to get too wordy, but I had a nice message today from a resident. You get that. Here's what this family said. He said, "Dear Mayor Vest, my wife and I wanted to take a moment to bring to your attention and praise the Jonesborough Street Department's employees. A couple weeks back, there was a big rainstorm, which we've had plenty of those, with a lot of wind, and we've had plenty of those. It knocked down a tree into our yard that was growing on the town's property that borders our home's property. After assessing the size of the downed tree, I knew it was something that was larger than I could handle on my own. Additionally, I was fairly certain it was the town's tree. I didn't want to do something that wasn't in line with the town's desires. I phoned the street department that morning and left a message with Jeff Thomas, who was going to forward the information about the downed tree to Glenn in the street department. The very next morning, Glenn came to our home, and I was able to speak with him in person and explain and show him the situation. Glenn was in agreement that the tree was in fact the town's and that they would be able to take care of it. I thought perhaps it would be a long time before they returned, as that has been our experience with issues like this where we've lived previously. Needless to say, I was beyond pleased to see them return within an hour and quickly and efficiently clean up and remove the downed tree. The gentlemen that came and worked were kind and courteous and fast. As a fairly new resident, I was beyond thrilled with the manner in which the whole situation was handled. I thought it would be nice for you to know that the town's employees are representing Jonesborough well and doing a great job." And that was, David and Tammy Timms down in Meadow Creek Lane. So certainly appreciate them taking the time to do that. So let's give our street department and we've had a lot of rain on Fridays, and our music's on the squares. It's an iconic event, and we've been hit and miss whether or not we could get that thing going. But we had one this past weekend that rained again, of course, and they moved it down to the visitor center and had the Dave Egger band there. And I tell you what, it was the first time I've been in the visitor center or even on Main Street and seen that many people of all ages up dancing. And they were led by Gary Digner out there. He was Mr. Birthday Boy, and he's right on the front row right there dancing. So, that was a great event. I appreciate everything our marketing team does to put those on. But it just tells you that our community loves those events. So, and we got Trey Hensley. He got rained out, but he's coming back, I think, on the 16th. Is that right? Or this 20th this month? So that's always a big event. So make sure if you come yourself and tell your friends to come back and see Trey Hensley on a Saturday. That's when we can get it worked out. And just to touch on a couple of little things, I always like to mention our building permits, but for the month of July, we doubled it again. 14 permits last year, this year, 30. So people continue to discover what we get to experience every day with living here in Jonesborough, and they're showing up in numbers, and people are building homes, and we're happy to have them. All right, Alderman, before I get into some other things, I have some committee appointments on the Historic Zoning Commission. Zach and I talked. We had a opening come up there, and he wishes to appoint Chris Bazar there, and he's somebody I've met before, and I think Glenn and Craig have met him, and we'd like to appoint him and reappoint Zach Jenkins and Ruth to both 5-year terms in the Historic Zoning Commission. And then on the Jonesborough Planning Commission, we need to reappoint Jimmy Ryan to a 3-year term and reappoint Frank Collins to a 3-year term. If no one has any issues with that, I appreciate a motion to approve those.
So moved.
All right, got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
I'll second.
Got a second from Alderman Causey. All right, any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Halsey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. We've got, Donna, I think you all here to make a presentation? Nancy? Okay. We've got the Wild Women of Jonesborough, so I saw that in there. I wasn't sure what was going to happen tonight.
We have a couple of wild men in the Wild Women's Group.
Okay, good.
Don't belittle them. Most of you know about the Wild Women. It became something just coincidentally. And over the past 4 or 5 years, we have made many contributions to many organizations. And it's a real delight to have $2,500 that has been raised by the women, mostly Jonesborough, but other places as well, for all of the important things that are of value to us in Jonesborough. And so, Jules, I don't think that you can get this in your pocket. We have a smaller size. And I would like to add that one of the Wild Women here tonight is my sister from Northern Virginia, and she has been a great supporter and a great contributor. So I'm delighted to have my sister here as well.
I want to thank Nancy so much, and Teresa really wanted to be here. She wasn't able to come, but she just is so grateful for this as well. And my cast members who are here, raise your hand if you are in the cast. We are bringing this play back. It's not just a play, it's community building, it's stories, it's our stories, and Jonesborough's stories. So thank you for this contribution to help us tell our stories.
And wild women and men, raise your hands and let them know who you are.
Can you pass that check one more time and look at me? Oh, my
We're gonna hold a big one. I like this one.
It's been a wonderful ride and will continue to be a wonderful ride with our community. You want to take it?
Sure. And I'd like to get a picture of the cast.
Okay.
Can we get one of those? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
So much.
All right, Wild Women of Jonesborough and men, we appreciate that. That's what makes Jonesborough a special place.
There is.
All right, we'll do Employee of the Month now. And I need to have Mitchell Calvin come over here. There he goes.
All right.
He sits over in the corner every meeting. About time I brought him out here.
Did you know? Good.
All right, Mitchell, I'll let you hold that right there.
Helps when you have to be here.
Yeah.
Like
That's what
don't.
they said. But I would like to nominate the Town of Jonesborough's website and marketing specialist, Mitchell Calvin, for Employee of the Month. Mitchell began working for the town in June of 2021. He has excelled at his position, implementing a number of new tools and technologies, is always willing to help out during events, and is an extraordinary employee. Mitchell has brought our website numbers up by thousands in just 1 year. His web development skills has saved the town thousands of dollars, as well as other technology skills. However, I am nominating Mitchell as Employee of the Month due to his work with Jonesborough Days and the Food Trucks and Flicks Festival. When 2 of the 5 town employees were unable to work Jonesborough Days Festival, Mitchell stepped up and helped with crafters, the kickoff dinner, the moon pie contest, the Jeep moon pies, or just the musical acts, fireworks, cleanup, the list goes on and on. Melissa Sucks, event coordinator, did an amazing job overseeing the event, but one person cannot do it all. Melissa has also commented on how important Mitchell and Nora were to the success of that event. On Saturday, July the 23rd, Mitchell oversaw the production of the outdoor movie we showed at Persimmon Ridge Park. We typically outsource someone to oversee the movie. However, the individual we used in the past has closed his business. Mitchell stepped up and took care of pricing the high-quality items, setup, streaming, and breakdown. There were a few kinks, but Mitchell handled it like a champ and troubleshot all the issues. After Mitchell finished cleanup on Saturday after midnight, he stayed to help the sound engineer clean up all his equipment as well. Mitchell worked for at least 8 hours in the extreme heat and didn't complain once. Instead, he made jokes, keeping everyone laughing and in a good mood. So Mitchell deserved to be Employee of the Month simply for his hard work with one of these events alone. Yet these are two perfect examples of how he continually jumps in with some extra help when it's needed. He has brought a large skill set with him to elevate the town's effort, and his attitude to always help out, his love for Jonesborough, and his willingness to put in really hard work makes him more than deserving of Employee of the Month. And I agree. We appreciate that.
Thank you guys. I love working in Jonesborough. It's been a blast.
We're blessed to have you here. Let's see, Tom gets a picture here.
Looks good.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Website's great.
Thank you.
We have come a long way there too.
Yes, we have.
And now I've got a proclamation. Allison's here. Come down front. Yeah. Donna said, make sure when I'm done reading this, I give it to you.
It's kind of long, I hope you don't mind reading
It
it.
is. Adam proofread to make sure there wasn't any words I couldn't pronounce. We'll see if he lets me, if he did a good job with that. Whereas the United States Constitution stands as a testament to the tenacity of Americans throughout history to maintain their liberties and freedoms to ensure those unalienable rights to every American. And whereas September 17, 2022 marks the 235th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to the magnificent document in the oldest town in Tennessee and make it memorable anniversary with patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. And whereas the Daughters of the American Revolution is a non-profit, non-political volunteer women's service organization whose members can prove lineal descent from a patriot of the American Revolution and are dedicated to promoting patriotism, preserving American history, and securing America's future through better education for children. And whereas, in 1956, following a petition by the Daughters of the American Revolution, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed 2 public law resolutions adopting the United States Congress, setting aside September 17th through the 23rd for the annual observation of Constitution Week. And whereas, the aims of the Constitution Week are to emphasize citizens' responsibility for protecting and defending the Constitution, encourage the study of the historical events which led to the framing of the Constitution in September 1787, and to inform people that the Constitution is the cornerstone of America's great heritage and the foundation for the American way of life. And whereas Jonesborough State of Franklin chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution encourages churches, schools, courthouses, firehouses, veterans' homes, scout troops, and other groups, local governments, and individuals to join the ringing of bells across America during Constitution Week to commemorate the 235th anniversary of the signing of the United States Constitution. Then, now, therefore, I, Chuck Vest, by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Jonesborough in Washington County in the state of Tennessee, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. We thank you for all you do.
Thank you. It's a privilege. I appreciate it.
When's your, where are you going to be this year?
So we'll be again at the with the Heritage Alliance. They're our Patriot partners, and we're over at the Oak Hill School, recently preserved with a DAR grant, hoping they'll apply for another one. And so that's September 11th, which is a Sunday. It's the same weekend that all of the Over Mountain Men, the Victory Trail Association, goes to Sycamore Shoals. And so everyone's invited. We'll have bells for everyone to ring. maybe any aldermen or staff would like to be there, or lawyers, foot soldiers of the Constitution. Thank you, Mayor
Thank
Best.
you.
You're always such a great supporter, and we would be glad if the town doesn't have someone to read. We're going to ask one of the children of the American Revolution. The state group is now led by a young man from our area. So we're really trying to promote his leadership. And I would love for him to read this on behalf of the town, unless there's someone who wants to read it. So I'll reach out to you about
Okay,
that.
that
And
sounds great.
Thank you.
Patriotism is so important.
It's so
Thank you.
important. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
All right. I think that's it. Did I miss anything? Anybody know? Okay, very good. Now we'll move into citizens' comments. So if there's any citizens here that's lives in our town limits or a water country, all right, Donna. Please give us your name and address for the records.
Donna Lewis, 116 Franklin Avenue. I just want to say it's hard to follow Allison. But you are so supportive of everything. This whole board is. And I just want to say that just about a month ago, I had come out of the library with a couple of other friends of the library board members, and there was water coming up from the ground underneath a light fixture right at the parking lot, and was flooding down over, running across the little bridge, the little footbridge. And I called the police department. It was just about 4:30.
Yeah.
And they sent somebody out there within 20 minutes. And the two young men that got there, I can't remember their names now, but they said they had been there when those pipes were laid about 18 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And that they were going to check on it, and they did, and they fixed it the next day. I was concerned for the library that they were going to get a water bill,
Yeah.
that they can't afford to pay.
Yeah.
And it was great. It wasn't from that. It was from somewhere else. But I just want to say, you have a great staff, and they just responded immediately. And I just wanted you to know that we appreciated it.
All right.
Okay.
Appreciate you
Thank you.
sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, anyone else? Okay. Now we'll move into Alderman Communications. Alderman, anything you wish to share? Virginia? Terry?
Yeah, it's appropriate following doing an analysis also on September 11th, after you go to the we've gone for the last couple of years, and it's a very good event. But the annual bocce tournament that we have that supports the Washington County Libraries is that afternoon at 3 o'clock. And we raise usually about $1,500 or so for the library, and everyone is invited, and we've had people that won that had never played before. So not having any experience or knowing what bocce is not an excuse.
Yeah.
In fact, the winners of the last one, we had to postpone them the last 2 years, but the last time we had one, Mayor Vest and Alderman Calliam won it.
And we were beginners, I trust me, we was beginners.
So if you're interested, just let me know, and it's always fun, and the fellowship is even better than the competition.
Absolutely, appreciate you putting that on, Terry.
And it's potluck. Ooh, it's good food. You need to
Adam?
come.
Yes.
No, sir.
Okay. All right, now we'll move into town attorney comments. Jim, do you have anything for us?
Mayor, just one thing to update you on. We do have one piece of pending litigation. That's the Mills zoning matter, and it will be going back to court probably in September. We're continuing to have issues there, and we'll continue to work on that. In looking at and trying to decide, I kept thinking, I've done so much on the phone for Jonesborough this month. What did we work on? And in about 5 minutes' time, I named off 12 projects. So there's a lot going on here. And it's something to be said that we don't have more litigation than we do with everything you all got going on.
Appreciate that, Jim. You're a big part of that, keeping us out of trouble, but we certainly appreciate, Glenn, hard work he puts into it too. So we're fortunate to have Mr. Rosenoff leading our team, and Mr. Ford. All right, now we'll move into some new business. First item on the agenda is discussion and possible action concerning approval of a resolution authorizing the town to participate in the fiscal year 2022-23 Public Entities Partners Safety Partners Matching Grant Program. And it's just a grant application for about $2,000. Alderman, is there any question or comments about that? If not, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Alderman Causey,
I'll second.
second from Alderman Dixon. Any comments, questions? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Thomas.
Aye.
All right, very good. And as it says in there in the write-up, is that, the success of this program mainly comes from the town's wellness program, so we appreciate everyone that kind of got us involved in that years ago. And keeping employees healthy and injury-free, pays off in the long run. Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action concerning approval of a special event application for Spot on the Hill by the Heritage Alliances. And I always want to go, looks so cool to go, and I've never been to one, so I got to try to, I know I got to put it on in my phone so it can remind me. But it looks like everything's in order, so Virginia, she probably spotted that quickly.
I love to see
approve.
these applications come in.
That's right, that probably put a smile on her
Perfect.
face. Alderman, is any comments or questions about that? If not, I'll take a motion. Got a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine,
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Causey. Aye. Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Looking forward to that. Next item on our agenda is something that's going to be important for our town, something we've worked on the last couple of meetings, but discussion and possible action concerning approval of the bids for the Northern Loop Phase 1, which is the North Cherokee Water System improvements. And we got some good news there. We estimated on what the cost would be and sent the bids out and it was kind of good to see. We had 6 people, I think, submit bids for it. And the lowest bid came in kind of a little less than what we was expecting, so it's great to see. And that'll get that project started. So Alderman, any questions or comments for staff there?
Mayor,
Yes.
I think this is the first project we've bid in the last 5 or 6 years that come in under.
Yeah.
We might want to contract with GRW, just start doing all of our bids.
That's right. Well, yep, there you go. All right.
And Jim's here from GRW has done a great job with staff. It's been probably 2 years that we've talked about the Northern Loop and what we're going to call the different phases.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see something coming to fruition for especially the northern part of the town.
You want to talk real brief on what it's going to mean for the northern part of the town?
If it's okay, I was going to defer to Jim. Do you mind, Jim, to address the board
Yeah.
since you've worked so hard?
You'll come up here, Jim?
Yeah.
And I would agree with Mr. Ford as far as trying to see what's in the cards as far as coming in less than we anticipated, and it's less, and that's probably the best news we've had in a
Oh,
long
yeah,
time on
yeah.
a bid.
I'd like to thank everybody for supporting us, and it's a pleasure to work here. It's a pleasure to work with Alan and Kevin and Artie and you guys. We really enjoy it. It's always good to work with people we enjoy working with. This water line will help boost the pressures to the northern part of town. All that area up in there doesn't have the transmission capacity that it needs, and this is the first step of getting a loop around the north side of town. We've got one on the south side, and this will be the first step in getting it around the north side. But I would like to thank everybody.
Yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank
And that's something I think we know we'll need because there's going to be a lot of growth out there, we think. Yes. All right, did we do a motion on that yet?
I don't think we have.
Can I get a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
A motion to approve from Alderman Causey,
I'll second, Mayor.
second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote?
Alderman Causey. Aye. Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
All right. Motion carried. And again, we say about come under budget. It's about 30% less than what some of the other bids were, so it's nice to see that. All right, our next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action concerning approval of purchase and sale of police canines. And nice little ride up there, but it looks like, when you officers, change locations, sometimes those canines need to go with them. So we've had the county have something come up, and Unicoi, I guess, is where we're having somebody go. So we're kind of trading police dogs in a way. It kind of zeroes out. But Alderman, do you have any questions or comments about that? The recommendation is to approve the sale of the K-9 Nero to the town of Unicoi and the purchase of the K-9 bond from the Washington County. So we're trading officers, and the dogs come with them.
Move to approve.
All right, a motion to approve from Alderman Countermine,
Second.
second from Alderman Causey. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine,
Aye.
Alderman Causey,
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. All right, next item on our agenda. It looks like it's been a while since we've had to do this, but discussion and possible action concerning the appointment of a municipal judge. As you can see right there, the term is ending, and we got the chance to nominate the assistant that's in there now to an 8-year term for our municipal judge. Looking to appoint Mark Edmonds to that. It's an 8-year term. Alderman, you got any questions or comments about that?
It's a good move.
Okay. All right. If so, I'll take a recommendation for 1 and 2, Jim, together?
I'd like to do those separately. if you-
Separately. So we have approval for recommendation 1.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve from Alderman Dixon and a second from Alderman Countermine. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Yeah, motion carried. Now we got recommendation 2. Take a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Alderman Countermine. Have a second.
I'll second.
Second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. Got a new judge. All right, next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action concerning approval to hire a contractor for the completion of the stage door project. And, had a lot of curveballs thrown down there, and I think we've got a solution to kind of hit those curveballs a little better. Alderman, any questions or comments about this?
I had some questions on it. Mr. Rosenau's been really good on helping me. I was concerned because we first got a memo stating one price, then agenda presentation was different. And he clarified that information, but I think we need a monthly report on the amount of what we're spending
Yeah.
down there. And I would like to see an estimate on how much it's gonna cost to finish the Jackson and stage door.
Yeah. Well, I'd agree with that.
I forgot to ask you that, Mr. Rosenau, sorry.
No, I think we talked about that. I think the goal is by the time we meet at September's BMA meeting, we would have
All that in
a
line.
better estimate, yeah. There's a lot of moving parts to whether it's new construction or renovations, so, and then the monthly reports is no issue.
Very good. Yeah, I know, talking to a gentleman, I think that's involved in the HVAC installation down there, was talking about how all of a sudden, probably a year or two ago, it was easy to get HVAC units for your homes and stuff. There was it wasn't any delays on those, which I thought I had to replace one at my home. And I thought, man, that's good. I got it in like 4 days. You thought everything else was taking 6 months to get. And, but they're saying now that's kind of hitting on HVAC units, so it's.
One type of unit that they mentioned is 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will not be waiting 2 years for that unit. But so you have to always, in the HV, you continue to pivot and find alternative ways to provide the same maximum climate control.
Well, I guess in the old days, the Jackson Potties had fans in there, so we'd always just do that. Yeah.
I also would like to see an agreement drawn up with the contractor that we're hiring to oversee, with the price in it and the 6 months on it. I don't know if I talked to you about that either.
Yes.
Is that something we can do?
Yeah, I think the monthly report, that's administrative. that's, we can do that, no problem. I think, striving for a cost estimate to finish the stage door, by the time of the next BMA meeting should be, able to be accomplished. Next, as far as, bringing back would be the agreement that's
Spelled out
more
here.
more spelled out in the agreement between us. And then there's a projected 6 months to complete it. The 6 months is basically more on hedging a little bit if there's any lead time issues.
Okay. Well, Alderman, you hear, we can add to the recommendation, words spoken by Glenn now to that recommendation. If that's agreeable, I can get a motion for that.
So moved
Motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
with that, with his.
Okay.
Mayor, I'll second.
Got a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
All right, very good, thank you. All right, now we get into our budget, discussion and possible action concerning first reading of an ordinance of the Town of Jonesborough, Tennessee, adopting the annual general fund, solid waste fund, and drug fund budgets, and setting the property tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2022, and ending June 30th, 2023. And just some background that Glenn put in there, just reading all the notes there. The one I liked is that lastly, this budget reflects no increase in property tax. Our rate of $1.20 remains the lowest in Northeast Tennessee for an urbanized area with full town services, while at the same time having the highest population percentage increase in Northeast Tennessee. So it's a tribute to all the work everybody puts in. So. Jim, is there anything I need to read beyond that?
No, Mayor, you covered it.
Okay.
You're fine.
So Alderman, you see the recommendation. Any questions about that? If not, I'll take the motion to approve this again and be on first reading. We'll come back again in a couple weeks and do it again.
So moved.
Motion to approve from Alderman Causey,
Second.
second from Alderman Countermine. All right, any other discussion? All right, call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Very good. And Glenn, that does include the pay increases that we're expecting to pass on, right?
I'm glad you.
There you
I'm
go.
glad you
Set him up
asked.
for that.
So what's crazy is I almost forgot about this agenda item. Out of every one of them, that probably took I don't know how many hours. I am thankful for Mr. Ford and for Miss Miller, Abby Miller. We kind of reprised our roles together as the three amigos to work towards getting the getting us to first reading, since we have to pass the budget by August 31st. So that was probably number one challenge in the way the things were going in the city currently as far as the finance part. So yes, the striving goal was to add $3 per hour for each employee, to a point to where at least at minimum all employees would be receiving a 10% raise. The majority of the employees, if you're full-time, that's $3 is equivalent to $6,240 additional salary. Not easy task, but I have to say that the board did not waver nor give any slack to any of us, including myself. We were devoted to it. We're still working out some things that won't affect the bottom line, but that's where we're at with the budget, with projects and et cetera. But the number one was retainment, to let our employees know how much we all care. And even though we say we do, sometimes you have to show based on the value and the way the economic climate is right now. Retention was probably number one, which normally is you're on the recruitment end, but retention was number one, recruitment a close second, but our real intent was to keep our family together, and then secondarily, the recruitment is to be not only an attractive place to live, work, and play, but for others that are looking for employment to be able to come to Jonesborough and try and earn a decent wage. So it was a long process, but without Mr. Ford and, like I said, Miss Miller, and the three of us, it was a great team effort. So we're proud of what we've provided, and we're confident on second reading as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, truly appreciate your leadership.
Mayor, I would also like to add, I know yourself, Alderman Dixon, and Alderman Wolf would appreciate this, but I've also been able to teach him a little Crockett math along the way.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I didn't use Crockett math. There was someone that said when I was swearing them in as an officer, I may not want to say this, may want to censor it. I used to hear it was like, you're using Crockett math. And I was like, I'm really not. Didn't even know what it meant.
That just means don't overthink it.
But then I had the privilege of swearing in the oath to a new Jonesborough police officer as the temporary recorder. So that was a great pleasure. And I was thinking, I've not done this very often. I might want to take it slow, repeat after me. And the first thing he said was like, can you go kind of slow so we can get this? I was like, he's like, I'm from Crockett. And so I said, I thought it was just math. He's like, no, reading and writing. It was funny at the time. I mean, he's a smart guy.
Just for the record, pioneers are not the
But I wasn't expecting I thought,
man.
yeah, but that was a funny.
That is
A funny of a serious week, so.
Well, I can speak for the board is really appreciative of the work you did, because it was not easy, and there were a lot of hours, and it's appreciated, and I'm sure the staff appreciate it.
Thank you.
And if I can say, I appreciate this board, because we could have come to the table taking a side. And it seemed like that we were willing to come together and work out something that we, I think, genuinely believe is for the greater good of town employees, and to kind of keep kind of a both and of course, town administrator kind of kidded me a little bit about the hybrid approach, but I think that it was good to think about our senior directors as well as our baseline staff. So trying to create some degree of equity there. So I applaud this board.
Thank you, Adam. Virginia, have anything?
I'm just thankful that Glenn hasn't killed me in the process.
Well,
I have to say I was waiting on something.
They have been very good working together, and of course they have to listen to me a lot whenever I have questions.
No.
Well, the good things about the way that we did it was, those on the lower scale getting a $6,280 increase. If you're making $30,000 or even $20,000, it's going to be a 20 or 30% pay increase. And trust me, very seldom does anybody get pay increases that. But it's a good way for us to get the pay where it needed to be. But when you think about the expenses all of us have day in, day out, you hear about inflation being up 9 or 10%. Believe me, it's probably more like 15% or 20 in some cases, depending on how you live. So, somebody making 30, and all of a sudden you're finding out, $500 and $600 more a month is going out in gas and food and so forth. A little 5% raise means very little. So we had to do something bold, and this board, had the strength to go and do that. And it would have been easy for this board to say 8%, 7% would have been the largest increases we've had, or even do 10%. But we was bold enough to kind of put it out there and get it to pay where it needed to be and make our staff, live the kind of life they need to be living. So I appreciate the alderman, stepping up and doing that.
Mayor, can I make one more comment in the absence of our honorable Alderman Wolf?
Yes.
Who may or may not be listening. we did not move at glacial speed.
Yeah.
We took it as
right.
important and urgent, as he had said the one meeting, and we were already in that mode, but it made for better advancing us quickly, and as Alderman Dixon said, the hybrid approach. I love that word. I've used it before. He used it before me, but on this case, but I would agree also. Kudos to the board to have a unified vision and direction for staff, which is key.
And good thing is we could afford it thanks to you, and we couldn't do it without the sales tax revenue coming in as strong as it has. Our property tax revenue is coming in strong, and it's going to continue to come in stronger, and we're going to take some more steps to kind of take advantage of this growth we're having. That'll help go a long way. So it's something we all feel comfortable about. So thank you, Alderman. And Glenn? All right, next item on our agenda is discussion and possible action concerning first reading of an ordinance establishing garbage and refuse collection fees. All right, this is how we're going to pay for it. No. Just kidding. I think this is going to remain the same. Alderman, any questions or comments there? All right, if not, I'll take a motion to approve that recommendation on our garbage collection fees.
Mayor, the agenda does not capture the
Okay.
full caption of the ordinance. You need to read that.
So ordinance number B-22-02, an ordinance setting the garbage collection fees within the town of Jonesborough.
Yes, sir.
All right. Alderman, may I get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Motion to approve from Alderman Causey.
Second, Mayor.
A second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Thomas.
Aye.
All right, very good. Motion carried. Now is discussion and possible action concerning first reading of an ordinance establishing water sewer rates for fiscal year 2022-23. I'll read that heading there for Jim. Ordinance number B-22-03, an ordinance establishing water and sewer rates to provide the necessary funds for the operation, maintenance, and debt service of the Jonesborough water and sewer systems. So again, I think everything's remaining the same there. Alderman, any questions or comments?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve from Alderman Countermine.
Second, Mayor.
Got a second from Alderman Dixon. Any discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Alderman Countermine.
Aye.
Alderman Dixon.
Aye.
Alderman Causey.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. I think that's it. Appreciate everyone. Meeting adjourned.